Recorded live from Orlando, Florida and Nashville, Tennessee, you're listening to The Dapper Danielle Show, starring Ian Wilson, Clarence Kelly. And now, here's your host, the one and only, The Dapper Danielle.
What is that opening from?
I don't know. I was just singing. Maybe it was sort of similar to like the like the old NBC interstitial. It was different notes. I wasn't singing that, but
You were doing the non-copyright version of it.
yeah.
The copyright free. There you go.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, welcome everybody to another episode of the Dapper Danielle Show. We are back in the studio. I'm back home in Orlando. Clarence and Ian are still hanging out in Nashville, Tennessee, and we are here to talk a little bit more about Animal Kingdom. But instead of talking about dinosaurs that are very much extinct now, we're going to talk about something that was always intended to come to fruition, but for one reason or another, it never did.
The other part of the Animal Kingdom logo.
The other part of the Animal Kingdom logo that still has references inside the park to this day. And what's funny is that I feel like every one of our family members has been in town these past 2 weeks. So I literally went to Animal Kingdom this morning before we recorded, and I met up with Aunt Jatana and Uncle James, our crazy Canadians who we love. Mm-hmm. And shout out to those that are listening from Canada. We love you. We just call them our crazy Canadians because they're the cousins. And there's always those cousins in the family. So that's why we call them our crazy Canadians, just to clarify. And
there's no political connotation here at all.
None at all.
Political connotation at all. It's just literally they are crazy cousins and they live in Canada. So they are crazy Canadians.
It's just a connection. That's all it is. But we were in Animal Kingdom. And of course, James knows all the lore, right? So he knows about Beastly Kingdom and Dino Land and all this history. And then Jatana is just like our mother of... Did I know this? Is that true? What are you talking about? And so we were walking in and we ended up talking about Beastly Kingdom and the part of the park that never was. And he's like, yeah, that's why there's a dragon. And she's like, has that been there the whole time?
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, Jatana, it really has been. So I thought it was perfect timing to go ahead and talk about this in today's episode, because I already explained this once to our aunt and uncle. And it's just perfect timing.
Perfect. I will say every time you start saying Beastly Kingdom, my brain, because I don't hear about Beastly Kingdom very often, so my brain always goes to Beastly Appetite.
Our friend Eric.
Yeah.
Yes. And so like I assume you're going to start talking about Eric, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, this is defunct Disney.
Absolutely. And I don't think Eric knows that there's a weird connection with the beginning of his username and that.
I was about to ask if he got the name from that, but maybe not.
Bro probably has
probably not.
No idea. I'll have to text him after the show.
Anyway, he doesn't know what Animal Kingdom is.
He doesn't know. Last time he was here, I was basically the tour guide for him when he was here, and I was just like, well, there's this and there's this, and he's like, oh, that's amazing. And actually, what's funny is I was talking about him. Sorry, Eric, if you're listening here, and I was talking about you to somebody else that follows us on the monorail the other night when I was also going to meet up with my aunt and uncle. And because Eric does the whole series on like the best places to poop in Disneyland. That's what he went viral for.
Okay.
And then they were like, oh yeah, you're friends with the Californians and all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah, but when they come over here, I do gatekeep even some information from them. I will not let them know where the best restrooms are in each of the parks.
Let's be honest. Disneylanders come to Disney World and are like, wow, these are porcelain thrones. You guys have more than 4 stalls per bathroom? Like, I am amazed. Like, I can put out my elbows and not touch the side walls for my stall. Like, it's so luxurious here in Disney World.
If you're new here, you need to go back and listen to the first season after we went to Disneyland. And that was something Ian and all of us had the hardest time with, was the bathroom placements in Disneyland and California Adventure.
We had a whole 45-minute rant about what the best bathroom was at that we experienced at Disneyland, and then what our favorite bathroom at Disney World was, which we bleeped yours out, Danielle.
We
if
did.
I recall correctly.
We did.
Because we couldn't let that secret out.
Again, gatekeep, girl boss was the theme of 2025. We're continuing that into 2026.
Maybe for the highest tiered Patreon members, you could give them hints.
Well, we dropped that idea, and I was gonna post that on the Patreon, and I never got around to it because I was like, I don't know if I'm still ready to release this information yet. I still want to keep this to myself. So maybe that's what I'll do. If you want to, Patreon family, you're going to have to leave a message. You're going to have to leave a note in the comments of the show description notes. If you want me to share with you my secrets over on the Patreon, I will share that to you. I will let you know. But that is again, exclusive information just for my closest Patreon family.
Yeah. So if you're not signed up to the Patreon, you should go sign up to find out where Danielle likes to poop on property.
Which is unfortunate. Anyway, I love how the most roundabout way of talking about Eric, Beastly Appetite, back to Beastly Kingdom in Dino Land.
Yes.
This has come up a lot here in just because of the closure of Dino Land, with how much construction is going on, and seeing the park even today was crazy busy. Oh my goodness, it was so busy. And Uncle James even asked, he's like, did you ever go on the Discovery riverboat tour that went around Animal Kingdom? And I said, Uncle James, no, that closed before I was even like 5. And he's like, oh? And I was like, yeah. Or no, I would have been older by that point. Because the park didn't open until 98, so this would have been 2002, 2003, I think, is when Discovery Riverboats closed. Is that right, Ian? Is that what we said?
Right from the book.
It was only about 3 years.
Yeah.
But before we get into all that, let us go back to before Animal Kingdom was still in the blue sky concept.
Jumping in our time machine.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
Joe
my time
Rohde?
machine.
Is that you?
That was impressive. I thought that was great.
Thank you.
See, we're getting all the sound effects this episode. We're getting the royalty-free NBC entrance, and then we're getting the free audio for the Time Machine rover here. That's great.
Exactly. So we are back in the before Animal Kingdom opens, so we're in the middle to early 90s.
Honestly, I would say this is probably about 92. So this is right about the time that Euro Disney's finishing up. They're like, yeah, Euro Disney's going to be a really big deal, financial success, before we started losing money. And they had all these fantastic concepts and these great ideas. And Animal Kingdom was broken up into different sections. So there'd be like Discovery Island. Well, at the time it was called that. And that's where around the Tree of Life area. And then from the Tree of Life, it would span out to animals that existed in the wild. So we had the Kilimanjaro Safari, you had Asia, you had Africa over there. Then you had dinos. So you had animals that were extinct. And then off to the left, where Pandora, the world of Avatar, exists today, was supposed to be the mythological creatures, the ones that only existed in our imaginations, or could have existed, but we'll never know, kind of thing. And they were all very much classic mythological creatures, right? Yeah. So sea monsters, dragons, unicorns.
Wonderful.
Right? Doesn't that sound so cool, though?
Like, sounds awesome.
Sounds awesome. Well, here in the show notes, and Clarence, you might have to pop up a couple of these pictures in the video presentation, but I'm going to try to verbally describe these as best as I can of some of this concept art. The land was originally planned for the southwest side of the park, because, of course, it was broken up to the different areas, but the land itself would have been broken up into 2 sides, a good side and an evil side.
Villain's Land. Wait. What?
Literally, I'm looking at some of this concept art, and I'm like, isn't that basically the same shadowy kind of like figure building that's proposed in the Villain's Land concept art? If there is a crossover, if we start seeing more of this concept art start appearing here in the next couple months as we get closer to D23, I'm going to be comparing these side by side and just being like, wait a second. Yeah, 100%. But one of the attractions, we'll start with the good side. How does that sound? We'll start with the good
Sounds
side.
Great.
It was kind of boring, honestly. But I'm looking at this, and there's a lot of things from these concepts that did end up going to Euro Disney. Okay. And so the first one was on the good side. One of the planned attractions was the quest for the unicorn, which was a giant maze, a large mythical maze that led guests to a rainbow cavern-like grotto with an animatronic unicorn resting in the center.
You know, Voldemort had his own quest for the unicorn in the Harry Potter series.
Right?
Kind of what that sounds like. You're wandering through the forest looking for a unicorn resting somewhere. Don't worry, honey. The silvery stuff coming out of the unicorn. Voldemort's just hugging the unicorn. He's just kissing its neck and saying what a beautiful unicorn it is.
Is that what you're going to do when you finally show the baby Harry Potter and when she gets a little older? You're going to be like, the unicorn's just resting, sweetie. He's fine.
Anyway, sorry. Sidetrack. Definitely crossover between Epic Universe there and
literally.
But the unicorn. The quest for the unicorn.
The quest for the unicorn, and the maze itself. It kind of looks like there was different pockets, and there were some other like shop things. It was supposed to be like a cute fairy village, also somewhere attached somewhere in here to be like a food and beverage location. And I assume there was also like little dioramas or like forced perspective like figures or scenes that were scattered throughout this too. There is a picture, a concept art of what the unicorn was supposed to be like. And it truly was that. It was a rainbow cavern, similar to what was out in Disneyland back in the day that you used to ride the train through. But there would be just a unicorn just hanging out there, just looking all majestic, being like, hey. Just like that. I don't know what unicorn. I can't do the neighing sound of a unicorn, but I do assume they're a little sassier. So they're like, "Hey."
The Dapper Danielle Show will be right back after these messages.
I will say, so far, this is sounding like a glorified Renaissance fair.
Literally, yes.
Which wouldn't be the first time Disney planned a Renaissance fair for Disney.
That's true.
Accurate. Actually, 100% accurate. Y'all, that is that, again, we will talk about that maybe later in the season.
Maybe Magic Kingdom, right?
Maybe Magic Kingdom. Yeah. Anyway, but the part everybody was most entertained by or was the most excited by was the evil side of this land. And it was to be a fearsome there was supposed to be a fearsome dragon themed roller coaster. So this was supposed to be the thrill attraction. I want to say this was even in concept before we got Expedition Everest. This was supposed to be the Expedition Everest of the park.
Interesting.
And instead of like the type of roller coaster that we see in the concept art that I think they were really pushing towards was a hanging coaster. And right. And there are proposed like scripts and more details that people have put together from like conversations with Imagineers, like each of them saying like, hey, this is our concept art. This was supposed to be like show flow, how it worked. And kind of the Spark Notes version of all of it was that there would be these bats that would egg you on. And that they lived in this abandoned castle, and so did this dragon. And these bats wanted a piece of the dragon's treasure, but they were all chicken butts. And they didn't want to go by themselves, so they enticed you, the guest, to come along with them to kind of just be a distraction. Right? Interesting.
Okay. Not bad.
So
getting the storyline here.
So the mechanism, the actual roller coaster would have been attached to a giant bat.
Okay.
That was holding on to a cauldron that the guest would sit in.
Love it.
Right? And then you'd be flying through the castle, making sharp turns, going down into the dungeon. And then in the lowest part of the dungeon would be a large animatronic dragon that would breathe fire at you as you passed.
Cool.
Around this giant pile of gold, and there'd probably be additional flames and everything. And it sounds so cool. And the measurement for this dragon, it was supposed to be about a 30-foot sleeping animatronic dragon. Wow. Like, expectations for this were huge. And then this dragon would suddenly awaken. He would get angry because you woke it up from its slumber. And then you and the bats would get so scared that you would literally yeet yourself out of a broken wall to an outside portion of the ride, and then just loop back into the parlor of the castle as if nothing ever happened.
Cool.
Very, very interesting. And then you would end up in the gift shop. That's really where the horrors persist. And
every decrepit castle has a gift shop nearby somewhere.
You know, if the bats didn't make money off of you because you didn't get the gold, they're going to get your gold in the end. You know, that's really what the goal was.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, not to hijack this, but it's interesting just thinking about Animal Kingdom, and I feel like, I mean, I guess kind of the same thing with Epcot, maybe you could say, but I just feel like it's just so interesting thinking about, like, now compared to the idea of just like coming up with an original IP, original characters, original story design just for an attraction. Like, there's no gimmick behind it. There's no like, well, this is a Maleficent coaster. You know, it's like, it's just dragon themed, you know, just like Everest. It's just Everest themed. Have we as Disney made a movie about a Yeti and on Everest? No, not really.
Again, I'm kind of shocked about it.
A Yeti ride, you know, and so I just think that's really interesting, kind of the idea of just having the like creative vision to be able to say, yeah, let's just come up with a story and make it something really fun here, you know. And I feel like Disney nowadays is just all shifting towards, okay, yeah, there needs to be something kind of already existing that's attached to it, which has its merits for, you know, definitely in some ways. But I just think it's interesting kind of around the time Animal Kingdom was like getting big. I feel like there was just it was like the golden age of like, yes, we have a lot of money, and we also are coming up still with just original stuff for the parks only, kind of, and putting the efforts towards that. So this would have been really cool to see come to fruition.
This would be cool. And what I want you to scroll down a little bit more in these photos is this dragon, very detailed, jagged, rough-looking green, these horns, these very distinct horns. If you look at the photo down below, this is a photo, and some of you, if you're familiar, underneath Sleeping Beauty's castle in Disneyland Paris, there is a dragon's den. It is not Maleficent. It is just a dragon for the sake of having a dragon. And this dragon matches very, very close to this concept art. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, this dragon opened up with the park in what, 1992, I believe? Okay. And so this dragon, I think, was the test run to be able to sell the dragon for Beastly Kingdom.
Okay.
And
I could totally
so much money in Europe. Everything in Europe was like, yeah, this is a test run for this. And then Disney was like, okay, so whatever we did in Europe, don't do it anywhere else, basically.
Literally, yes. But they would have saved money in the aspect of the mold and the set and the figure for that head was already done. They just had to recast it and reshape it for the Disney World park.
Totally.
I don't think I've ever seen this picture of the Sleeping Beauty dragon.
Have you ever seen videos of him?
From Euro Disney. No, and I'm shocked at how frightening he is.
He is scary. And I love
it.
Usually he's sleeping. And then he's like breathing and like slowly moving. And then he'll suddenly wake up and he moves his head and he looks around and then he'll blow smoke at the people and then he'll go back to sleep. The videos are impressive. And he is one of the only... Not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why I have any interest in going to Disneyland Paris is because of him.
Fair.
And I just think he's so cool. And then also this cavern and like the stalagmites and the stalactites and the water surrounding him in the Disneyland Paris concept, if you compare that to the concept art, which I did not include in here, of the unicorn, the setting of the cavern is identical with unicorn.
Interesting.
I just think the crossover is very convenient, you know?
It is. I am definitely seeing where they are utilizing some ideas and trying them out in a different park to see if they would do well in Animal Kingdom. And I do think, honestly, if they didn't run out of money, they probably would have built it.
Oh, 100%.
And I feel like, because I hate looking through this because it makes me really wish that they did it.
Right.
Because it would make Animal Kingdom so much better than it is.
Imagine just hopping off the excavator ride in Dino Land, and then I'm just going to go use my Fast Pass over here at our Lightning Lane now. Sorry.
Well, I mean, we could have still had Fast Pass a little bit longer.
Exactly. But then just running over and doing the Cauldron Run or something over at, Beastly Kingdom, and having a unicorn dog afterwards, which is, wow, what a great day in Animal Kingdom. Instead, I have to wait an hour to hear someone go, the shaman, and Navi River.
Oh, yeah, Navi River.
Navi River, yeah.
I mean, I think she's cool, but
she is really cool. That ride is actually really fun. Yeah, that ride is really fun, but it's just like, it's like Magic Kingdom when the lines get to be over like 90 minutes for Fantasyland, and it's like, I really like this ride. I really don't want to wait 2 hours to ride this ride.
I hate that ride. It's so boring.
Even if it was only a 5-minute wait.
I think
if it was a 5-minute wait, I'd ride it, but it's not worth a 20-minute wait.
No.
I think I wouldn't wait past 20 minutes for that ride just to see the one animatronic.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I feel like it's kind of it kind of weirdly reminds me of Ariel's The Little Mermaid Undersea Adventure.
Oh, totally.
It's very similar to that to me, of just the little spinner things in the forest. All I think of is the little under the sea where you have the fish kind of going back. But I'm like, this feels like the exact same thing. We're just going in a room with some things. Anyways, sorry. It would have been amazing. If they had gotten the money for all these things, I do feel like just the concepts, as usual, Disney's vision is sometimes amazing, and then the actual execution is like, okay, pretty good, we can live with it, but what if we had just done the vision instead? But I understand it was also really expensive to do the live animals, which is a really cool aspect of the park. I don't know, would you guys take Beastly Kingdom if it meant you had to give up Kilimanjaro safaris?
No.
Yeah. Totally.
And my only reasoning why is because I rode Kilimanjaro safaris literally today with Uncle James and Aunt Shanna, and we were the only ones in 4 rows. We were towards the back, and the 2 rows in front of us and the people behind us had never been on Kilimanjaro safaris before. They had no idea what they were getting into. They did no research. So when they realized they weren't seeing animatronic animals, and that giraffe was real and was crossing the road in front of them, they were losing their minds. And I just recorded, and I don't know if I'll ever post this, but I did record a whole TikTok of showing what was going on, and I need to go back and listen to the audio to see if I could catch their reactions to some of these things, because it's something I take for granted, because I'm like, yeah, I see the giraffes, I see the hippos, I see that giant alligator and crocodile over there all the time because Animal Kingdom's in my backyard. But for some people, Kilimanjaro Safari is the only time in their life that they might get to see any of these African animals, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Unless they go to a local zoo.
Well, not necessarily. There's so many zoos now, or there's a lot of zoos, I feel like, across America, but there's still some states and some areas where there's not necessarily a zoo that's easily accessible, or one that you want to support because you don't know how those animals are being treated also. So I could see where maybe you would avoid certain ones, and then you come to Disney World and you're like, oh, look at that, they're on vacation, they have this giant open thing, and they have their own scientists and everything like that, and they're so great. But I loved hearing their reactions, and it was so genuine. And there was they weren't teenagers, they were maybe 19, 20 somethings behind us, and they were our safari driver, I'm forgetting her name, I had to go back and listen to my audio, was giving some great facts and was dropping them about the hornbills and how their wingspan was the same length about as the tarp that was over top of our head. And the guy behind us looks up and he's like, no way, man, that's a big old bird. And I was just like, This is why we have Kilimanjaro safaris. This is amazing. I love it. So for that, to have a real animal in front of you, I think is so cool, and how well Kilimanjaro safaris is done versus an animatronic, and how we've seen animatronics being taken care of in the park today. Could you imagine this right now with how some of the animatronics are being treated? You know?
Yeah, I mean, imagine like if Animal Kingdom, they'd really gone all in on the dragon animatronic, and it was like groundbreaking, and then a couple years later they had to do like strobe effect on it instead of having.
What if it was a Yeti?
Or something? Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been unfortunate, and that one you wouldn't necessarily be able to hide as easily, because if that entire room was supposed to be lit up in gold, it's not like you're in a dark cavern or something like that. You're in a giant gleaming like gold pile.
Yeah.
Interesting. But so yeah, I don't know. But you would take Beastly Kingdom over Kilimanjaro, Clarence?
Totally. Because if the only reason is to have live animals there, like there are live animals in other parts of the park. Like I can walk through the zoo part of the park and see all the critters. So I don't need to ride a jeep to go through and see them. It is fun, but I feel like it's fun because it's what we've been on, and we've never been on anything from Beastly Kingdom. So I think just for that, I do think genuinely the rides and attractions in Beastly Kingdom would be far more entertaining.
Oh yeah. If the money was put over for that.
I would be tempted to take it too. I don't know. I think if you threw in Dino Land, like Dino Land, Full Vision, and Beastly Kingdom, I'd be like, okay, yeah, we could lose Kilimanjaro safaris. But I don't know too if that's Kilimanjaro is I assume that's the major expense that everyone talks about when it's like, you know, but I know there's other animal habitats too that cost something as well. But yeah, it is. I mean, I feel like probably Beastly Kingdom at this point would have also gone the way of Dino Land, where it would have been ripped up and re-themed and stuff, because it's like, I think just keeping it like a pure play fantasy type land, I just don't know if I don't think Disney that would have carried much longer once they kind of got out of the classic like animated princess like era of their animation studios. I just feel like they would have already kind of thought about a different way to kind of do that. But I kind of agree with Clarence, where it's like Disney, if you think about like the Imagineering per square inch, there is not a lot of Imagineering going on in Kilimanjaro safaris, especially now that the whole storyline for Big Red, Little Red is gone. It's like, okay, it's just cruising through a zoo, like Clarence is saying, whereas a Beastly Kingdom, you'd have a lot more Imagineering. You'd have food areas, you'd have designed, you know, buildings and stuff.
The merchandise opportunities.
Yeah. It would be a very interesting trade if you could to like just get Beastly Kingdom for Kilimanjaro. It's like, yeah, you lose a special aspect of Animal Kingdom, but you gain a really cool area for Imagineering storytelling, basically.
So when you were talking about that, all I could think of was, could you imagine after Harry Potter World opened up at Universal? Like, there's so many people that still come to Hollywood Studios today and don't realize that they bought a ticket for the wrong park. And if y'all say, oh, that's a made-up story, no, y'all, as a cast member, when I worked during Frozen Summer Fun...
Wait, they went to Hollywood thinking they were going to Universal?
They had a Universal Park map in their hand. And they got to me working the front gate of the Frozen boutique back when we took over American Idol there in the very beginning of Frozen Summer Fun in 2015. And they have the park map in their hand. They walked all the way back, and I mean, there was a little bit of a language barrier. I'll give them back. But it was a Brazilian family of 11 people.
Oh, my gosh.
Somebody needed to...
Somebody, that whatever auntie planned this, was getting screamed at. And so they hand me the map, and they're just like, where's the castle? They were looking for the Hogwarts castle.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like... This is something I've only heard in cast member stories. I didn't know this was a real thing, that this would actually happen. But this actually happened to me, y'all. I can vouch for this. And I broke cast member protocol, and I was like, hold, please. I got out my own phone, and I opened up Google Translate, and I translated our conversation in live time, because I'm like, I need to tell these people before you go any further, go to the front, get your money back, find somebody that speaks Portuguese, and have them help you. And I told this to the two people, because only two people from the party walked up. And I explained this with the app, and I said, no, that's 30 minutes down I-4. And explained, this is Disney, that's Universal. I go through everything. And you can see the one family member's eyes like open and the mouth drops. And then the other family member, the brows furrow and the mouth pierces a little bit. And they just look off to the side of the person that obviously made this decision and brought them to the wrong park. And then you can read, I don't speak the language, but I can read the body language of deciding who was going to be the one to tell the rest of the party. And it wasn't good.
It's rough.
So rough. Funny. But if that happened, could you imagine people coming to Animal Kingdom and being like, where's the witches at? Oh, well, we have the dragons and the unicorns over here. No, the Harry Potters and their dragons.
Yeah,
could you imagine?
Really disappointing there wasn't that much Chris Pratt in the Dino Land there. I mean, I just kind of thought, he's kind of the premier character for the movies. You would think he would show up.
Yeah, he's busy being Captain America in a different part, or Star-Lord.
Star-Lord over in Epcot.
Yeah,
different version.
I don't know.
That is kind of funny to think that Chris Pratt is on both sides of I-4. Like, that is amazing. Just think about it.
Gets around.
Anyway, but
could have been some confusion for sure.
For sure. But that's just funny to think about, that this could have been a possibility and that this could have happened. Well, with the idea that this could have been a possibility and that this could have happened, for one reason or another, it didn't happen. Disney ran out of money, whether it was Euro Disney or whether it was they realized, caring for so many hundreds of animals that have very strict diets and how big the land is going to be is a little more expensive than we anticipated it being. But Beastly Kingdom was planned. It was like, no, out of everything that's going to happen, this is going to happen. So, proof of it that it was still an idea and that was going to happen that you can still find in the park today. Number one of the first parking lots that's closest on the left-hand side, like if the middle of the tram, left side, heading towards the gate, that parking lot is called Unicorn. And it's still called Unicorn to this day. I parked there today, Road 217. And then when you go to the front gate, you have the 3 ticketing booths. You have the elephant, you have the dinosaur on the right, which would have corresponded with the right side with the Dino Land. And on the left is a dragon head because the dragons were supposed to be on the left side of the park. And that dragon, as of right now, is still there today, along with our Triceratops friend. And in the first couple years of the park being open, we kind of touched on this with the Dino Land one and the Iguanodon animatronic that lived in Discovery riverboats. And half of the attraction, the kind of subpar first version of the attraction that opened, was you would we passed by the little dragon water feature, kind of alluding to that you're entering into dragon territory. That dragon feature, you can still see the remnants of it being overgrown by the brush as you walk across the bridge to from Nomad Lounge to Pandora. And off to the right side, left bank, is the remains of the water feature. It's not running, but you can see the dragon feature still there. And then as you went down the river towards, well, now it's where the bridge is connecting from the backside of Pandora to where Festival of the Lion King now is. There was this like giant boulder-like structure that the dragons supposedly lived in. And it had fire blow out of it. In the first like couple months, there were these scattered armor pieces of knights that were burnt and melted to a crisp. Not really family-friendly versions, because if you look it up, you can find, they took photos of them when they were moved out of the attraction. Somebody took backlot photos of them just hanging out there. It's just pieces of like melted limb and like a head and like a guy that literally has a spear shish kebab through the middle of him. And I was like, oh, wow. And there's not a lot of photos of these that exist from 1998. But it was there. And that rock feature is still there. You can still see the rocks. You actually walk over it on the bridge, which is hilarious. But the whole dragon and the Discovery Riverboat theme was so like Disney was still planning on it, that when Animal Kingdom opened, there was a McDonald's Happy Meal that featured the dragon.
Okay.
And y'all can Google it. This is a real thing. This is actually something, after I discovered this is a grail item I want off of eBay, but I'm not willing to buy it. It's like, I want to find it in the wild in an antique store. I don't know where I'm going to find it, but I want it. And it is
Wild Kingdom, almost, you could say.
Which, if y'all did not know, well, Ian, do you want to explain what Wild Kingdom was?
It's just it was Disney Wild Kingdom wasn't that was Animal Kingdom's original name.
It was
name before they realized they couldn't get the trademark to it, so then they switched.
Because Wild Kingdom was a show that was premiering on ABC, I think. So yeah, copyright.
Which I know, LOL. It's like ABC. Imagine we can't get the copyright to something in ABC. It's like, yeah, well, that didn't last long before Disney was like, hey, we'll just own ABC.
We'll just own ABC now. It's fine.
Now that you mention it, it'd be nice.
Wasn't ABC purchased by Disney way before this?
I don't remember. I don't remember where Wild Kingdom was premiering on. I think it was either ABC or NBC. Too many BCs.
Yeah, because the ABC acquisition happened in '96.
Oh, okay. Well, what about... Well, but that was the working title back when it was announced in 94.
Okay.
94, 95, so that would have been right beforehand.
Okay, yeah.
And then they quickly changed it as it got closer to it within the first, like 2-3 years leading up to it. Mm-hmm. So it would have been before the acquisition anyway.
It ages a little better. I feel like Wild Kingdom is a little like... I don't know, just seems weird.
Okay, here's what it actually is.
Okay.
Wild Kingdom is a 18-season documentary that started in 1963.
Oh. Where did it play at?
It see, it was originally produced from 1963 until 1988, and it was revived in 2002.
Oh.
It aired, the show's second incarnation aired until 2011 on Animal Planet. The original, it premiered, a fourth incarnation, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm reading through the...
No, you're finding the facts for us, Clarence. We appreciate this.
Okay, it was released on NBC.
NBC. See, too many of the BCs.
Yep.
Interesting. But I think it's funny that it was renewed. Doesn't Disney own Animal Planet now?
I don't know.
Because they own History Channel.
Well, because it's actually been revived quite a few times since then. So the original was on NBC from 63 to 71.
Okay.
And then it was syndicated from 71 to 88. And then it was revived in 2002 until 2011. It ran on Animal Planet. And then from 2013 to 2018, there was a YouTube show.
Isn't that the one Snoop Dogg was on?
I don't know. It doesn't say anything about Snoop Dogg. And then from 2023 till the present, apparently it's running on NBC. There's another one that's running on NBC.
Wow.
So.
And that's all why it didn't become Wild Kingdom, because they were like, nah, this is the one thing we have. We're going to keep running with it. Disney, you cannot have it. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Clarence, for clarifying that and finding that for us. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Well, anyway, back to McDonald's. So on the box of the McDonald's Happy Meal, on one side, it showed a purple dragon emerging out from where the den was over on the Discovery River. And it showed the Discovery Riverboat, like, and it breathing fire and all this other stuff. And then one of the toys you could get was the dragon. Because they were so sure that a dragon was going to show up in Animal Kingdom shortly thereafter. So I want the box and the toy and or one or the other. So
and it was a purple dragon.
It was a purple dragon, not the green dragon that we see in the concept art. But I think that's because the Discovery River dragon was supposed to be different than the one that was inside the roller coaster. Because there was supposed to be multiple dragons.
Okay.
There's another dragon in Disney that started out green. and then was switched to purple.
True. But he's the cute one, and he sings, and he hung out with a very handsome redhead for the longest time. So that's a little different. Clears your face.
I think I'm learning something about your type.
I think okay. I was
Purple dragon or redhead. I didn't. Which one?
Is it Dreamfinder? Or
Yeah.
No, Dreamfinder. I look at pictures of Dreamfinder from the 80s. I'm like, oh, that's such a handsome redheaded
Danielle
man.
looks at Dreamfinder and she's just like, hubba hubba.
My tastes have changed as I've gotten older. I'm like, yes, a handsome bearded redheaded man. Give me one of them. Good.
You need to run, Danielle. If someone comes up to you and says, "I'll be your dream finder," you need to run. Just
It means they listen to the podcast a little too much.
She just wants. Danielle just needs a man that has a lot of hair, big red beard, and flies in on some. He picks her up for a date on like some flying contraption that he's pedaling in a little red velvet seat. He's like, "Hop in, babe."
You know, sure. At this point, we'll go for a ride. It's fine. Oh my goodness! Like what's unfortunate, y'all, is we were talking about when we were going to record. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm available all day on Saturday," and Clarence has a very serious girlfriend. Ian, of course, is married, and so they reminded me, Danielle, Saturday's Valentine's Day, and I was like, "Oh, that's why I'm available." I completely forgot. So good job, both of you, for staying up to date. And I know the other women in the family are being well taken care of this Valentine's Day season. It's great. Goodness. Anyway, moving on from me being single. And
simping over Dreamfinder.
Anyway, okay. So along with the idea of the other things being on Discovery River Island, there was one other thing that was hidden past the Iguanodon, randomly off to the side. So you would go around the entire loop, and then before you went underneath the bridge where the Tree of Life is, and you would come back around to where the bridge to Pandora is, there was a random bank over there. And on that bank was supposed to be the Misty Glen, where this unicorn would like raise up on its hind legs. I think it was supposed to be an animatronic also originally in concept. Didn't become that. And then it was supposed to have a fog machine that would put like fog over top of the bank and across the water. So you just see him like standing there all majestically. The fog machine kept breaking and didn't work. And it wasn't an animatronic. It was just a figure just standing in the bushes looking white and moldy. And that's it. So somebody actually bought it, and I found the link. Somebody actually found it through extinctdisney.com, and somebody talked about finding it and buying the beastly unicorn. They were cast members. They were on the cast member website, which if you're a cast member, you know that you can go onto the hub, and sometimes there are these auction sites, and you can put in a bid to be able to buy these things. Well, they were looking one night and they saw that this random unicorn on a pallet was just available. And they're like, what? That has to be the one from Animal Kingdom, but it says it's only 5 feet tall. That can't be right. It was not right. Someone did not measure correctly and did not put that information out there. So they bid for it. They won it. And the unicorn stands at, let me see, hold on, the measurement is right here. It measures, hold on. It was a mistype. It was actually 12 feet high and 5.5 feet wide from hoof to tail.
Wow.
Which is a lot. And it did weigh a lot. Luckily, it was only fiberglass, but they did have to get it onto the truck very, very carefully. And I guess it lived in their garage for 8 months, because what are you going to do with a giant 12-foot unicorn in the middle of either Claremont or Davenport out here in Orlando? And they ended up putting it in their backyard.
Love it.
Where supposedly, I think it still lives to this day, and I want to know where this is, or if these cast members still have it. If somebody by chance listens to this podcast or follows me on social media and you have the unicorn and you are either a current cast member or ex-cast member family that owns the unicorn, can you invite me over to your house so I can see it in person, please? That would be like amazing.
Or if you're someone that's always wondered, why does my friend have a unicorn in their backyard? And now you're connecting the dots. Also reach out.
But on Extinct Disney's website, they provided over 25 photos. So you could see it kind of on the glen, off to the side, just randomly, like a bunch of green trees, giant white unicorn. Just standing there, nothing else going on for it. Just a random unicorn statue. And then in their home, though, you see the entire family, multiple family members and neighbors, hoisting this thing into the backyard to be able to move it. And then they decorated it every single season for the holidays.
Love it.
And during Christmas time, it became a Christmas reindeer unicorn, and they had pictures with Santa. Santa came out also. It became a very patriotic unicorn during 4th of July, wearing a Uncle Sam hat over top of its horn, giant bow, and hoisting a giant American flag. And I think my favorite one, though, is, where was it? It dressed up as a turkey, which is photo number 16 on the website. And they added a giant turkey tail and like pumpkins and stuff around it. And I think he's majestic as a turkey. Mm-hmm. So I think that's amazing. But yes, if you know who has the unicorn or you see it in your neighborhood, can you let me know? And then I'll be the one to investigate and reach out to these people and be like, hey, so I heard you have a piece of Animal Kingdom history that I would love to nerd out about.
The Dapper Danielle Show will be right back after these messages.
The unicorn can also be code for a redheaded man above 6 feet tall. Good personality, humor, polite. If you know of a unicorn, please.
Anyway. Well, with all this said, again, so there are the few little references of what did eventually come to Animal Kingdom, of the unicorn parking lot and the little remnants of Discovery Island. But yes, all the Discovery Island boats disappeared within the first less than 5 years, and most of the features, the unicorn obviously was auctioned off years ago. The fire effect stopped years ago, and all that remains is the remnants.
So was it question, was it Discovery Island or Discovery River? Because Discovery Island is the one that's out in Bay Lake that didn't close until 1999. Right.
But Discovery River, right? So the middle section that is now where the Tree of Life is now called Discovery Island.
Okay.
And it was renamed that after Discovery Island out in the middle of the lake officially closed.
Okay.
So that's
it wasn't called Discovery Island when it opened in 98.
No.
It wasn't called that until after the other Discovery
Safari
Island
Village.
Okay.
Safari Village for the longest time.
Gotcha.
And then they're like, oh, this is kind of random. Why is it that when it's kind of more of an island shape, and then you go over the waters to the different lands? So it became Discovery Island, but only after the actual Discovery Island closed, shortly after Animal Kingdom opened.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. Good question, though. That's a very good question. Yes. Well, that's kind of all I really have to share about this mythical land, because there's a lot of other concepts. We can find other things, and people have pieced together stories of, oh, well, it could have been this thing. It could have been this thing. That's kind of the most concise out of the information that we do have of what was going to be at Beastly Kingdom. But what are your overall thoughts, other than we're angry that we didn't get any of these things?
Ian, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I think it would have been cool. I feel like I don't know. I mean, every park's evolution is kind of just, it is what it is. So it's like kind of cool. You know, you get certain things like the Lion King show, the Festival of the Lion King may not have been there if Beastly Kingdom hadn't flopped. And it's like, that's a huge highlight for a lot of people, for me going, you know, so.
Oh, I guess I didn't want to say that. For those that don't know, and you're like, well, Danielle, what became of the land? It became Camp Mickey Minnie for years before it turned into, it closed for construction in 2013, 2014 for Pandora, the World of Avatar. It was Camp Mickey and Minnie, which was like the meet and greet location for Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Chip and Dale, Pooh Bear, Tigger, and that was where Festival of the Lion King was originally housed, as well as a Pocahontas theme show. So entertainment took over this area, and there were so many what was supposed to be very temporary buildings that could easily be torn down to finally make way for Beastly Kingdom. It just never happened. So those buildings just kind of kept going longer and longer until finally Pandora came in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even growing up, here's the thing. I love animals.
Yes.
I love them with all of my heart. Animal Kingdom has always been like the forgettable park for me.
Really? Yeah.
Genuinely, like, it's never been one that I've enjoyed going to.
Do you like Everest? Have you been on Everest?
I have not been on Everest, and I'm not a big roller coaster fan, to be quite honest. Like, I can do some of the Magic Kingdom coasters, but not all of them. So, I will say Animal Kingdom has always felt unfinished. Even as a kid, it felt like something was missing from the park, and when you get into like what they originally planned for it and everything, you see why. Because there is a lot that's missing from the park.
There's a lot that pivoted.
Even with how Dino Land ended up, it meant to be a lot more than it was.
Right.
You know? And so, like, now, I do think it also kind of changed how they were viewing the park. It's like, okay, we don't have the original storyline of, like, animals from yesterday, today, and mythology. It's like, okay, we only have animals from yesterday and today, so we're just going to move it to, like, really focusing on conservation and like, which is great, awesome, but also in the modern day, it's like, is that still the message? Is that still what we're pushing at Animal Kingdom, especially with the integration of AI? Like, how much are we really living up to the conservation message? And then, like, bringing in Avatar, like, I understand how Avatar plays into that messaging, where, like, now that's kind of the driving storyline for Animal Kingdom, is what it feels like. It's not so much, like, education in, like, animals. It's more like just education on conservation, which is fine. It's cool, but it also changes the direction of the park completely.
But I would also argue that because of after 2020 and the entertainment that was added into the land that would help communicate the story of Pandora, like the mecha suit demonstration and how they would explain that this technology was originally used for mining, but now here we're trying to protect the environment. So now we use this to go out into the alien planet to be able to find things and explore without hurting ourselves. And then you had the people that were the drummers. All that entertainment disappeared. It did not return post 2020. And I feel like without them, people are now like, well, what's the point of the land other than Flight of Passage ride? Like, that's a cool ride. We're just going to go for the ride. But they don't realize there's an additional underlying storyline to it.
Yeah, I think when conservation is like your core messaging and like that's the thing you're driving down, it can be done really well.
Yes.
And it can be done like really impactfully. But the problem is it was it was like a backup messaging is what it feels like for Animal Kingdom. So they never really have gone all the way with that messaging or like all the way with teaching that or like how to communicate that to new generations of people that are coming into the park. So I think any time you have a storyline that is like an afterthought, it's not going to be fleshed out well. And even when you try to continue it, it's like putting a Band-Aid on that eventually falls off.
Yeah. I mean, and they try. They really do. So like in the when it comes to custodial and the food waste teams and everything like that, Animal Kingdom is held to like one of the highest standards of like organizing trash and like what's recyclable, what's not recyclable compared to all the other parks. And which is great. And then here recently they had an entertainment piece that kind of roves around, and they were drummers that were making music out of recycled materials. And oh my goodness, what were they called? Not recycled rhythms. I honestly have not seen the show because I'm only in the park after 3:00, and they perform usually in the morning, and they're done by their last set's like at 3. So, if anybody know, like, I'm gonna have to look that up and see what they are. But I know they exist. We walked by when we were there. Actually, we went by the bathrooms and we saw their display there, waiting for everything. So interesting. Yeah. No, I agree. Clarence, 100%.
I think it's gonna be interesting too, seeing like how they navigate with Animal Kingdom moving forward and not making it just World Showcase 2.0, because that's kind of like what it is, except for like even like Pandora, it's like almost just like, well, World Showcase of like the, you know, not a politically correct term, but the exotic world, you know, to an American. It's like, well, you know, this is, I don't know, Uganda.
We have tropical tropical Americas. We have Asia, and you have Africa. You have the big continent areas.
They use words like Harambe and stuff. And it's like, you know, I mean, it's like, I feel like it's kind of that like, okay, yeah, like exploring the corners of the world type mentality. But it just kind of feels like World Showcase again, of like, it's very similar to that, where you have different countries' foods. It's like, that's kind of the big draw, is getting that like, you know, experience of, you know, Yak and Yeti having like actual beer from Nepal and stuff like that there. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's going to be interesting to it, even with Tropical Americas coming into it. It's like, okay, how is this not just like bigger World Showcase in a different park kind of type thing? And how is it kind of distinctly Animal Kingdom moving forward? I'm not really sure. Tropical Americas doesn't really seem to fit Animal Kingdom at all, but hey, I'm not in charge of it.
We'll see what happens as we get more details, and we get, now that Dinoland is officially closed, and y'all, the dinos are gone. They are gutted. They are gone. And we'll see here very, very soon how that's going to take place, or how Bluey. Here, let's talk about that.
Joe Rohde is turning in his bed over Bluey.
I don't think he is. I think at this point he's just like, I got my bag. I've already said my piece. I did all I can do. I just got to take my hands off and say, Jesus, take the wheel, and just not even worry about it. He doesn't need that stress. He's like, that is not my monkey, literally not my monkeys, not my circus. And so Rafiki's Planet Watch is closing. Actually, I think is it next week? Something like that. And it's getting the Bluey overlay. So I'm like, oh, so the place where you go out and watch where animals are like taken care of, and like the nursing facility and everything like that over there. But Bluey, are we just gonna like cover that up? Are we just gonna hide that and just be the Bluey section? I don't know. I have so many questions, and I don't know how it's gonna happen until they finally open it up. More questions than we have answers, but more to come as we find it out. I will let you know here in the next episode of the Dapper Danielle Show. And thank you guys so much for following along and listening along. We will be back for another episode of more random Disney history. It's going to be a fun time. To confirm, yes, we will be at MegaCon Orlando. Oh, yes. I think when we recorded that last episode, didn't I say that we've been going back and forth with them?
Yes, we did, but we are officially going to be there. We're going to have a table. We're going to do a bunch of panels. We will have that information by the next episode, like what the details of the panels are and everything. But we will be there all weekend.
I can, as of right now, I'll give a little a little tidbit, a little hint, a little sprinkle of one of the panels during one of the days. If everything lines up correctly, right now, Disney Dan, our good friend over on YouTube and the socials and everything like that, will be coming and joining, and it's going to be a Dan and Dan show panel, and we're going to be talking about something to do with Disney costuming and history and lore, and we're very, very excited about it. So I've been talking with him this entire week and ironing out some plans, so more news to come.
Very cool. I would not miss it. If it was me choosing to attend MegaCon or not, I would say I am there 100%.
Well, and also because we're going to maybe talk about Epcot, and then Ian will probably be there, and we're going to talk about writing books, and Clarence will be there too, kind of organizing the whole. You're going to be holding down the fort is really what it's going to be. Like, without the rest of the Dapper family there, I cannot move or function. When it comes to MegaCon. So I really do rely on everybody for that, and I really do appreciate it. But I also really appreciate when you guys show up too. So if you are going to be at MegaCon Orlando, let me know, and I hope to see you there. We're going to have all the cool things there. Again, more info to come, literally probably around the time that this episode drops. So,
yeah. At the time that we're recording this, literally we agreed to terms yesterday. So
literally yesterday.
we are... yeah, we're going though. It is all official. Yep. Big shout out to all of the Patreon people that have signed up recently. We got some new subscribers, not in the highest tier, but some other tiers.
Yes, we have some new churros members, some new premium bar members, and thank you so much for being part of the Patreon family. I am going to be hosting another giveaway over there too for this season, and I'm kind of one of the things that will be given away in the month of February, which you do have to be part of the paid Patreon to be able to put your name into the hat for the drawing or on the wheel of names. It's going to be Lorcana themed. And I have a couple of cool Lorcana things I'm going to be giving away. And one of them, along with some cards from the new set that literally drops tomorrow on February 13th, is one of the Belle playmats that is no longer available unless you can just randomly find it. So I think this is one of the really pretty ones. So I have this ready along with a couple other things for the Patreon, so stay tuned for those.
So you already have cards from the new set?
No, I'm literally supposed to be going with Bippity Boppity Beard tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. to rope drop Disney Springs.
Oh, to get new cards. Okay, I thought for some reason Lorcana sent you something, but...
No, because of my name being on the blacklist of Disney merchandise, they can't send me stuff. So I can work with Studio, I can work with Disney Plus, I can't work with merchandise.
Don't know why. But it's through Ravensburger.
But they have to get all their names, and they have to tell Disney who they're sending their stuff to.
Okay.
And then Disney has to say, yes, this person, no, this person, yes, this person.
Disney, you should just let Danielle do it, okay? You should
literally, I'm not going to get into a rant to it, but there was a lot of people that was invited out to work with Lorcana and with Disney Store and everything like that they had no idea what Lorcana was until they got paid to be talked about it. And I was like, as someone that's a fan and actually knows how to play and is actually working on a YouTube video to explain in Dapper Danielle terms how to play Lorcana for beginners. Anyway, I'm a rant for another time.
Another time.
All right. Well, thank you again so much for listening this far into the episode. Check out the Patreon. Stay tuned for the next one and more information coming your way. Thank you again for following along on the Dapper Danielle socials on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the places. And until next time, night, night, sleep tight, dream of churros tonight. See y'all later.